there going to be questions about kangaroos?
There can be. There should be.
So stupid.
You know I could take a kangaroo.
No.
You don't think I could?
No. I don't think those two dudes that we were just watching could. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I could take them easy.
okay.
At least the one that was getting beat up.
I wasn't at the county fair, Tyrone, but you were, correct?
That dude was huge.
So was a kangaroo, dude.
Yeah, but there's a technique he used. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay,
All
good.
right, I gotta start this. You ready?
No.
All right, what up? Welcome back to the Lit on Life podcast. This is episode 29. I'm Tyrone. I have a very special guest here with me today. Sister Jenn Jitsu. Sister Jones. Or Jenn. Hi, Jenn.
Hi.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I may be this awkward the whole time.
That's good. That's all right.
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
How's life?
It's good.
It's good?
We're gonna do another hour by hour.
What do you mean? Yeah, I just made her tell me her whole day today by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
And she did a good job.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, I went down like a 20-foot water slide
Where at?
at the Jones family reunion, and I promised I would go, and I nearly died. Yeah. Yep.
Worth it though?
Oh yeah, I think I got.
Dude, I wouldn't go.
I don't know what happened, but I got an injury, so it was worth it.
Yeah, it's not fun if you don't get injured a little bit.
No.
All right, so question one. This is a big question. What is the difference between Jiu-Jitsu and Jenn Jitsu?
Oh well, I've been practicing the art of Jitsu, also known as Taekwondo Jones, for a long time. Yeah, and I think the difference would just be one is probably an ancient art, and the other is just some BS that I made up. You know what I mean? It's real wild, awkward street fighting.
If you're from where you're at right now, if someone was to attack you, what is the Jiu-Jitsu stance?
Well, firstly, yes, I tend to go like this and just hit their arms out.
And
right?
Like a headbutt? Do you follow with a headbutt?
No, I usually do this because I'm faster. F boy, you know what I mean? Or I'll jam my hand in their mouth. I did that to Morgan the other day. It was awesome.
We went to the trainees' housewarming party, and Jenn let me out the whole time for about 10 minutes. I got Jenn Jitsu to the face.
It works, right? I'm fast.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Boy, Morgan was talking trash, and you know how he laughs like with his whole head open? He looks like the South Park character, like the Canadian. He's like, So I just went like this and just went, pshaw! And one time I did it and I wasn't even looking. So that is Jenn Jitsu.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay, well,
you can see
like
it.
the Canadians.
You can see it in your mind's eye, right? Like he's just like, and I just was like, yeah. So yeah.
That's the great sense of her out of this podcast.
Well, you're welcome. You know.
Thank you.
You know where it comes from.
God, I do not.
I remember that.
I do remember that was great. Me and Rachel will still be like,
so
we
stupid.
still have jokes about that. That was great.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so we both work in recovery.
I work in treatment.
Or treatment, whatever.
It's different.
Yeah, no, it is different. What's your favorite thing about working in treatment? And then what's your least favorite thing about working in treatment?
It's the same answer. The people. Don't take a drink. It's the same answer.
I didn't think this was going to be another funny answer, right?
Well,
it's true.
That is so true. Like, I think the best part about it is, well, it's changed a lot for me over the last 10 years, right? Like, the best part is that now I know that something that I do may not impact somebody in that moment or this time or whatever, but it may cause them to return to treatment later. You know what I mean? Or now a lot of my outlook on it is that I want to just be kind and helpful for the most part, because I'm human. But now, because sometimes that's the only time they get you know?
Yeah.
So.
You said something like to me a while ago, like when I think it was at Steps, but you're like, this is probably the best year they're gonna have,
Yeah.
in a long time if they relapse,
Sometimes that's the only year that like their family gets with them in recovery, or
It's true, dude.
or okay, and I'm okay with that now. I used to be like pretty hardcore, like you're gonna die, and whatever. And the truth is that doesn't stop anybody from anything. And so now I just want to show up, and if something does happen to that person, I know I showed up with love and kindness. So I would say that. And I think the worst part of working in treatment is just that sometimes you don't get to see any of the. It's not one of those jobs where you get to see like anything you've done, right? And it's a lot of times it's really heartbreaking, so you don't get to see, or you don't feel like there was any progress or anything got done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes I just like to shred papers, and it's because then I'm like, oh, look what I did. I shredded this stack of papers. Like that's the only concrete thing I have, is that I successfully shredded paper,
Yeah.
Because like people paint and they're like, oh, look at it, I painted this, it's awesome. And I'm just like, well, I got talked to 100,000 times today and nothing happened. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. 2 for 2, dude.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
We're off to a really
We're
good
doing
start.
all right. We're gonna make it.
We're on fire, dude.
Woo!
What's the biggest difference? Wait. Yeah.
Do you want me to host? Should I ask you?
What's the biggest difference between Jenn at 1 year clean and the person you are today?
Oh man. Well, I'll give you an
Because I've seen a lot of tons of growth in you since.
I think at 1 year, I was like, I just thought that I needed to tell everybody everything they were doing wrong, and it was all based in fear, right? Like I was so afraid everyone was going to relapse, or die, and the truth is I have no control over that, and so it took me a really long time. I would say probably the last 4 or 5 years have been where my biggest growth has come from, just because I learned that I don't have any control over that, and I really. Somebody that I had in treatment somewhere like a long time ago, I have them in treatment recently, and they were like, they call me Zen Jenn, so that's wild. He's like, man, you were a bitch.
Was it at Steps?
I can't remember where he was at, but he was just like, you've changed so much, and a lot of it is just that I'm not running on fear all the time,
Yeah.
Whenever we're in fear, we're trying to control or stop or whatever, and the truth is I have no control over any of that. So I think that's probably the biggest difference, and I think my view on a lot of different things, like I don't feel the same way I did even 5 years ago about like MAT or syringe exchange or whatever. I don't feel that way anymore, and a lot of that's just because I had people in my life that like I knew they were gonna die, and some of them did. Some of them took their own life, but I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm never gonna talk to you again just because you're using.
Yeah.
And they taught me a lot about how to show up where they were at, and I think that's the biggest difference for me from like 1 to now. Is just my view on the world, and just staying in my own lane. Like my recovery is gonna look different than a lot of people's, and that's okay too. I just don't want people to die like that, or or whatever. Who am I to judge where they're at? So I think that's probably the biggest difference.
Cool.
For
when I worked with you at Steps, and I think I've seen that process start. It's really good.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Dirty Dr. Pepper, and let me just tell you, it comes in what looks like a creamer bottle. Did you not like it?
Go on.
And so I thought it was creamer, Dr. Pepper creamer, and I put it in my coffee, and it was the worst fucking thing I've ever tasted. I just told her this, but I'm telling the world.
Yeah.
It was terrible, but it's really good in a way.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink it in a pinch.
Okay,
right now, you know what I'm saying?
What I was saying is I think when you got that new sponsor, and that's kind of when I started to see a shift in you. And since from then till now, you're a completely different person.
I think a lot of that was just that. I think a lot of it was like circumstantial stuff. It's like where I was at like with my job and some dynamics there.
Yeah, it was a difficult situation
Yeah.
for you, especially.
Yeah, and just a lot of things like that. But when you know, and I love my first sponsor very much, still do. But when I got my new sponsor, she didn't know anybody here, right? And so like if I were to be like, oh, let me tell you what so-and-so did, she'd be like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
You know, and it was really freeing for me because it forced me to stay in my lane. And she's very spicy, but she is also really cool. Like she says things to me like, what would love have you do? And I said, throat punch people. And she's like, that's not the answer, you know? But she redirects a lot that way, and it's been really cool to experience that. Plus I just started doing some work, you know? And because I hadn't been for a while, and it just was the right time for me to like shift forward, you know, like the whole arrow backwards, whatever. Like I was just in a really icky spot internally, and so when I was forced to step outside of my comfort zone, it really just kind of shot me forward, at least, you know, for me.
Yeah.
In my growing period,
I've
you know?
seen it, dude, for sure.
Well, thank you.
And I wanted to tell you, do you remember when I threw my fit there and got mad at, and I went in your office and we kind of talked it out? Do you remember that at all?
Oh yeah, I do actually.
I wanted to tell you that was a big teaching moment for me because that really taught me like that I could communicate with people.
Yeah.
Even if I was angry.
Yeah.
And I had something to say and you just let me talk. You said things back, but not rude. You were very, it was like you were teaching. I was like, holy fuck. I walked away from that like, that did not go how I thought it was going to go.
Listen, I was so,
I'm like, I can talk.
do you remember, I was so proud of you for like coming to me with that stuff, right? And I had a recent situation like that where somebody was like, hey, I feel like this, you know? And I said, look, I understand that I can be pretty intimidating. Am I thinking of the same conversation?
Yeah.
Where you told me I was being an a-hole?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had a similar situation happen recently, and that's exactly how I approached it, right? Because my sponsor taught me like, what would it look like if you came from a posture of love, right? And I sometimes I forget to give people grace because I'm super hard on myself. And it was the same exact situation. So I like almost exactly. So it's funny you brought that up because it was like that. And I just really, you know, I'm all for it. Like if somebody comes to me, I'm open to feedback. I really am. And I don't know that I always was, but I know now that I am. And I'm just a human trying to do the best that I can. And some days I'm not at my best, you know, but it's cool you brought that up because that is exactly what happened. This happened like last week. Cool. It was super cool. So
yeah, it was like a big moment for me. I've never really brought that up to you, but wanted to make sure I threw that in there.
Thank you.
And also, I was early into my working in treatment.
Yeah.
And I was like, we love them no matter. Like I was just in this zone.
Yeah.
And then I fell out of that zone and I became like you exactly were. And I was like, motherfucker, dude,
yeah.
I get it. And I was like, fuck these motherfuckers.
There's a learning
fuck them, they don't listen to shit. I was saying, Ryan had to come in and talk to me basically. He was like,
can I
yeah,
okay.
of course. He's like, bro, you gotta say something to the clients. Like, you gotta like do your job. And I was like, nope, not right now.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was like, God damn it.
Here we are.
I knew exactly. I was like,
yeah.
Jenn Jones right now, a couple years ago. And Ryan's me coming to me saying, quit being a dick, you know?
Well, I think there's just a big learning curve with it, with anything where you're dealing with people, right? Like I don't know what you would call it, like the human services or whatever, right? And when you come into it, especially if you're early in recovery, you're fired up, you want to help, but also it's really hard. I mean, think back to like when you started working in treatment, it's really hard to like set boundaries without being an a-hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we want to just build a wall up and be an a-hole, which is what I was doing. And once you get past that, it's so freeing because it bleeds into the rest of my life. Like people will come to me and be like, oh, so-and-so relapse, and like they're losing their minds over it. And I'm like, okay, did you? Like, because I don't know, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
We can show up, we can throw love at them, we can do all those things, but it's really freeing because it frees like that codependent part away. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's just a learning curve. and I watch people go through it all the time, even counselors, even people that are normal people, like they're not us, so we feel that empathetic part so much, and we just want people to be healthy and safe. Even they go through it. It's just a difficult
Yeah, it's a
field.
trip, dude. It is. It's like almost. It's like we all go through the exact same thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I watched different people do it. I watched Johnny do it. His curve, to where he was almost like, fuck it. And I was like, I told you.
Yeah.
You can't.
You either push through it and get over it, or you just leave the field. And that's okay too, right? Like, we don't have to work in treatment just because we're in recovery. We don't have to. But I, at this point, I'm like, I already made it over the hump.
Yeah.
You know? I don't want to not do it, because I made it to a place where I'm pretty okay with like leaving work at work and just showing up with love most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time,
That's all. Yeah, most of the time. That's good though. Most of the time's good.
It's better than before.
Yeah. How's your spiritual life changed since getting clean?
I think a lot of my spirituality is just kind of seeing the magic in the world, right? Like, I believe some different things, like, than some
Like we come back, right?
Yeah, I believe in
I believe
reincarnation.
that too.
And
You're my go-to for that.
yeah, I think mostly just because I just really want to get it right one of these times. But I just really believe that. But for me, like, my spirituality is more just seeing that I really believe we're all connected, and I believe that because I've seen some weird stuff happen, like just like so and so knows so and so that knows so and so, like, and then it all comes back eventually to me. Not that for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I had a situation last weekend. I was asked to speak at a convention. I was like the backup speaker. The speaker backed out, and I said yes. And the only reason I said yes is because I was the backup speaker. Because 9 years ago, I was asked to be the backup speaker at that same convention for a different part of the convention, and it was really magical. And I went up there, and I acted out on something, and I had to make an amends, and it ended up being really beautiful. But so I believe that sort of thing, right? Like that everything's connected, and that if I just keep doing the right thing and trying to be a good human, that everything's going to be okay. And even when things aren't okay, I know I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so it's not like a really defined concept for me, but I do believe that I have a version of a higher power, and it's not really defined.
I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and I can't, like, I wasn't raised I wasn't raised really religious or whatever. I found out, like, my dad made me, I was raised Lutheran, and I found out later that my dad is like, oh, I'm an atheist. I'm like, well, then why did you make me go? Like, this is so weird, right? But I never felt connected to that. And so now the way I talk to my higher powers, I'm like, hey, come with me to this conversation, come with me to this situation, or whatever. And I mean, and that's like the majority of my prayer, other than gratitude. Like, I try to list things I'm grateful for and whatever.
Right.
And to me, that's like the biggest form of prayer, is just expressing gratitude.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, I think I went from nothing to that. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't exactly know how to.
That was a great answer.
Okay, I don't know how to.
But I see the person that is like, I know. I'm like, do you?
Yeah.
Are you sure you know? Because I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it just keeps growing, kind of, and it's like open to different things. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I always feel taken care of, you know what I mean? And I feel like the more I look for like the magical moments, the more I see them. And I don't know if that's just experiencing more gratitude, but I have so many crazy things that, for me, that happen that are just mind-blowing to me. Like the bus on the side of my house. That bus was on the side of my house in 2003 when my son was still alive. My friend and his wife at the time lived in the bus, And then now I have like 120-year-old girls living in my house, and he brought the bus back for one of them to live in it. And I spent my 20s in that bus, you know.
Yeah.
Probably
That's
partying,
cool.
but you know. So for me, that stuff is really special and full circle. And I just try to look for that stuff, you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is there anything about your life before recovery that you miss? Like for me, I miss doing nothing sometimes, having no responsibilities.
Oh yeah.
You know, like whenever I'd go visit people for Christmas and stuff, and I just see them doing nothing, playing video games, and I knew that's all they had to do.
Yeah.
I would like leave and be like, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, so that's like one thing for me, like just the being responsible sucks sometimes, you know. It's not always, but sometimes like, God, dude, can't you just like get a week off?
I think, probably, and it's more abstract, like probably just not having to think. You know what I mean? Like, or feel, right? Like, or even just do stuff to blow off steam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like now to blow off steam, I watch 400 episodes of Ink Master and eat a whole bag of jalapeno kettle chips. You know what I'm saying? And my kids are crocheting next to me. I'm just like, this is it. This is my life. You know what I'm saying though? Like that. So I sometimes I probably, glorify that in my head. But I also miss just being homeless and running amok, you know? It's like, whoa, what are we gonna do now? There's adulting is ridiculous, really. There's a lot. It's a lot. Like I had to change the fridge filter the other day and I was mad about it. It's like I gotta buy one of these every 6 months and my husband's like, no, you don't have to. And I'm like, but I do, like stuff like that. It's just like, nobody told me I was gonna have to spend $60 on I just got a new fridge. My 1979 fridge finally died.
No, rest in peace.
No, I think it still worked. Jared was upset. No, don't. I think it still worked, but
Okay.
I wanted a new fridge, and now I'm paying the price. $60 every 6 months. So yeah, I get that. I can relate to that too.
How do you define success today?
Oh, well, since I'm poor, I don't really, I'm not a big material person.
Same.
I live in the same house I've been in since 2003.
I love your house.
I do too, and I have a car that runs. It has 200,000 miles on it. I'll probably just go until it won't. But for me, success is just not hating going to work every day and the relationships I have in my life. Like I would take away anything that has to do with money or a job or whatever, but I wouldn't take away the relationships. Does that make sense? Like that is success to me. Success to me is that people want to be around me, and that I get to show up for people, and I just get to maintain these relationships. To me, that's success.
Yeah.
I could win the lottery though. Like, let's not take that out of the running. I have to buy a ticket.
I hope you do, because I feel like you'd share with me a little bit.
Well, I would, but I never buy a ticket. So maybe you could buy the tickets.
We do at work sometimes, but I don't get us tickets.
All right, let me know.
But we've yet to hit. When we go to California for our
for your
retreat,
thing.
yeah, we always get them. But
have you ever won more than $5 on a scratch off?
yeah, I won $50 and I never cashed it in. It's still here.
I know. I have like.
I think it's too late to cash it in.
I feel like I have $100 worth of them.
I never cash it in.
We're not
You
good at
do?
this.
You bring them over here. I'll cash them in for
Okay,
you.
I'll see if I can find them somewhere in the car, somewhere in the drawer. Thank God I buy those, huh?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that because success just is different for me today. And I asked, I asked Mitch what abundance meant to him, and it's kind of the same question, like success, abundance. But success is just being good with myself, loving myself, like showing up for Kiana, being a good person, a good example, Sora, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really have. Like my dad's success was finding the next dope bag, or like whatever, and that was my success for a while too. And then when I first got clean, I thought, like, I want to make a bunch of money. That was success to me, but it's just changed to me.
Yeah.
You know, that definition has changed. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about the harm reduction program.
Oh, I thought we were getting to the kangaroo.
We know I could. We know.
No.
We know I could be the kangaroo.
I don't know who this we is, but that's the
We're all connected, so we.
Oh yeah. Way to bring that around. All right. Bring in a kangaroo. We'll see how this goes.
I'm gonna do it.
But
I'm
you
gonna get
can't
arrested
hurt
for
it.
Will you bail me out?
You can't hurt it.
I can't. How am I supposed to win the fight if I can't hurt it?
What?
Because that thing's trying to kill
I
me.
know you, and I know you wouldn't. You'd like throw one punch and be like, "Oh, is he okay?" You would. You say
I
this
can't.
like.
After all the shit I've talked, I have.
I know, but then you get this furry little creature, even if it's mean, in front of you, and you'd be like, "Oh, I just hit it," and you would not feel good about it.
I'm not gonna admit to anything on camera.
Oh
you know,
shoot!
But
That's the whole reason I came on the show, just so I could point this out to
we
you.
can talk about this later.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so harm reduction is just like the way it was explained to me is that there's like a continuum, right? Like there's a line, and abstinence is here, and active using is here, right? And harm reduction is anything that's in between, right? Anything that keeps your life safe. So wearing a seatbelt is considered harm reduction, you know. Quitting smoking is considered harm reduction, whatever. Anything that improves your quality of life or the potential, like decreases the potential of death, right?
Yeah.
So as far as like our harm reduction program, which is, you know, me right now, we do a syringe exchange program, and syringe exchanges help reduce the risk of the spread of hepatitis C and HIV and other bloodborne things, and it reduces waste, like, you know, dirty syringes, places, and whatever. But more importantly, like I can help anybody, like if somebody comes to me and they want to stop using illicit drugs, and then I can connect them to MAT. There's programs that don't cost money that I can connect them to, and other resources in the community. I have fentanyl test strips, which is kind of a moot point unless people are using heroin, and I have xylazine test strips. And so it's just a way to teach people to be safer when they are using, because, and I always like to say this, dead people can't recover, you know, and so it's just, anyway, plus it's just really meeting people where they're at, you know, and it's about dignity, and it's completely anonymous. I don't have to report anything. The only thing I have to report is the number of syringes that go out per quarter, and that's it, and how many come in. That's it. I don't keep track of the people, their names, anything. There's nothing documented. So it's just a way to meet people where they're at, and to just, you know, help people who use drugs, because they're human beings. You know, there's nothing like that. And I really just want to say this. I understand the sentiment, like when somebody overdoses and dies, and everybody gets on social media and says, if you're struggling, reach out, and all of that. I understand the sentiment behind it, but I don't think it's helpful, because I know when I was using, like, I was not going to reach out to Joe Blow that was in recovery, and again,
they were blocked.
Well, and it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, because you know what they're going to say, don't do this, you're going to die, right? And really all that I want to create with the harm reduction is that people can come to me. I'm not going to tell them, oh, guess what, you're going to die, because like we know, the DARE program did not work for a reason, but I can teach them how to use safely until they want to make a change. Or if they never want to make a change, I can at least teach them to be safer, you know?
Yeah.
So I get the sentiment, especially recently, there's been a lot of overdoses here. I know that I got an email yesterday that there were 5 non-fatal overdoses in a 24-hour period of time. So there's been an uptick in overdose, and I get, like I said, I get it. I get where people are coming from, but I wish every single one of those people that posted that would give people my phone number, right? And then I could maybe teach them how, because I have to give them information. I can't just be like, here's some syringes, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like I have to tell them, like, hey, these are safer practices. You need to, you know, various things like, you know, go slow, don't use alone, call this number, never use alone is a great resource. Like, it's free, it's anonymous, it's not even based in the state, it's based back east.
What they call them, like they're on the phone with them?
Yeah, they call them. There's an operator there's volunteers, right? And they stay on the phone with you. And if you become unresponsive, they call the ambulance. And they have really good success with that. And again, it's anonymous. It's not illegal to overdose, right? Like, they should not arrest you for overdosing if if the ambulance is called. And so they've had quite a few reversals because of that. So yeah, just stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I get it. But those are not the people I would reach out to if I was, whatever. Because I knew I was going to die when I was using. I knew.
It was kind of the goal.
It was kind of the goal at some point, right? And I didn't even reach out to go to treatment. Like I never was like, oh, I better get it together, or someone can help me get it together. And the cool thing about the harm reduction program is like if somebody came to me and said, I want to do something different, I would help them, apply for Medicaid or get into a treatment center that doesn't require insurance. It has nothing to do with my primary job. This is just a free service that we offer, and I just get to be a part of. So I think people need to know that too. Like it's not just me, throwing syringes at people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I personally, that would have helped me. I caught hepatitis. I had to do the treatment for it. I overdosed twice and died for a few minutes both times, and Narcan saved my life both times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a super cool thing to do for people, and Narcan literally saved my life. And if I could have had somebody bring me needles, I wouldn't have been sharing with people that I knew.
Yeah, for sure.
Hepatitis because I had to use.
Well, I don't know how I didn't get hepatitis either.
Lucky.
Same circles. So, and I've administered Narcan to somebody, and my kids, they have given Narcan to people on the shuttle, like when they
saved somebody's life in the parking lot.
Yeah, in the parking lot. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, it was wild.
You came back like, what?
Yeah, it was crazy. But I'm really grateful for that.
You didn't know him, right?
I was picking him up to go to treatment.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
I thought it was just some random, like you seen.
No, but yeah, it's, and I think everybody should carry Narcan. And my kids do too. Like my kids send me people to come get it. You know what I mean? Like they're like, hey, they said I should carry this, and they don't even know what it is. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll do a training while I'm here, So it's really cool. I don't think that, anyone should ever be in a situation where they just get left. How many people do we know that people left because they were scared, So yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Do you have to sneaky babe? Look.
No, you're good. How many cats can I get before it becomes unethical?
Well, you should really have one litter box per cat.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
the one's a 1/16 of a cat right now, so that doesn't count. But I think that 7 is
unethical.
the limit.
Like you can have 7,
Yeah,
or
I say 7.
Okay.
And only because I want more cats.
Yeah, me sort of want 10. So Kiana wanted to make sure I asked you this question.
Oh, okay. Okay, well maybe compromise.
Yeah.
7 seems reasonable. I want one more, but my cats hate each other. Cannot be out at the same time.
Yeah, I got lucky, dude.
Yeah, so.
Really lucky.
So I don't know what he's like. Do you think it's like having a baby when you're struggling in your marriage? You know what I mean? This baby will save us. And I told him that. I tried that angle. If I get this little baby kitty, maybe they'll like each other. And he's like, oh, do you hear yourself right now? And I was like, it might save their marriage. Yeah. He said no.
We need Jared here, dude.
Oh yeah, you should get Jared on here sometime.
Because I am I'll just get another one.
But you should have Jared on the show.
I'm down. I'm always down.
Some of the crap he says to me, he's wild. Okay, the other day.
There's so many questions I want to ask him about you.
Oh,
they're all about you.
Go for it. But the other day we were in bed and we were watching. He likes to watch these disaster shows, and I'm like, this is
like what?
Like tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff. And I'm like, this is pretty depressing.
I like serial killer shit.
I do too.
I'm obsessed with it.
And he says to me, he's like, this is so depressing. I'm like, at least they caught the killer. You're watching something where they
The tornado got away.
they devastate like thousands of people.
You get
That's
handcuffs
cool.
a tornado.
Anyway, he told me, he's like, I watched a show where they say that tornadoes are human generated. And I said, Jared, go to bed. I said, do not talk to me until tomorrow. This is the stupidest thing. Yeah, it's pretty weird.
That's funny.
It's pretty weird. So 7.
7, okay.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to say to anybody? Any words of hope or anything like that? Just a
You want me
message.
to call people out? Hey, is that what you meant?
Just like if anybody's struggling, anybody who,
Yeah. Well, I think that, I just think that and I've been in this category too. Like, I don't care how you do your recovery, right? Like, I don't care as long as it keeps you out of harm's way, right? Like, because I'm abstinent, but I'm not telling anybody else how to do that. If you can reduce the risk of overdose or dying or whatever, like, you don't have to do it the way that everybody else does it, And I used to feel really strongly about about MAT, and now I see it as a tool of people not dying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, if you have an injectable on board, Vivitrol, Brixadi, Sublocade, whatever, your risk of overdose is decreased by like 80%. And so, so even that, like, just to have that safeguard in the rough time of like early recovery, like, why not? You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't something that was even available when I got into recovery, but I just don't care. I just want people to not die.
Yeah.
You can't try again if you die. And so for me, it's just, if you need help with any of those things, there are people out there that will help you and not judge where you're at or force you to be where they're at, which I cannot stand that. I can't stand that when people in the community are like that, or even people in recovery can be like that, or that work in treatment can be like that. Like, it's this way or the highway, and I just don't really believe that anymore, because the amount of people that have died especially in the last like 5 years,
That's been nuts.
it is wild. Like, people died before, but like, it has just grown so much that I just rather have people be alive than have them do something the way I did it, honestly. And so for me, like, I would just want people to know that there are a lot of us out there that don't have that judgment, that it isn't our business how you do it. We just want you to stay alive and live happier and be happier, because that's not a fun way to live, right? But I want those people to know that there's people out there that will treat them with dignity and respect regardless of what choices they make,
Yeah. Cool.
And if they don't, tell me.
Yeah. Tell me too.
Jenn
So
Jitsu.
Jenn Jitsu, and I'll show a person what I can do to a kangaroo.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Did you have fun?
Where?
Here.
Yeah, we always have good
That
time.
was great.
We always
You
have
got me
good time.
crying, dude. I almost cried when I was telling you about me being able to talk to you and you not freaking out. I almost cried then, and you had me crying from laughter for your
Well, that's good.
first 2 answers.
It's up and down.
I love you. You've been like a mentor to me. You've been a great friend. You've been a great example. You're an absolute legend. Everybody knows you.
I was
Everybody.
wearing my shirt that has my face all over it.
That would have been great.
It said Jeb Jones, and then I thought,
We're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it. She's gonna be
gender.
Gender and the Tiger King. We're gonna have to edit it because
Yeah.
first interview is gonna be with the Tiger King,
Okay.
and then gender after that.
I'm gonna have to work on that
It's gonna
accent.
be the Tiger Queen, right?
No, it's
No,
King.
okay, King.
I gotta hold the cats though.
Okay. Do you remember when they attacked him? You know, got in trouble for letting the clients watch that.
For the Tiger King?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I wasn't supposed to let him watch it. Julie's like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" I was
Why
like,
not?
"Sorry."
It
It was
dude,
so
the
great.
Tiger King saved us during
Yeah,
COVID.
it really did.
It saved our lives.
I felt like they needed some of that too.
We couldn't have made it out without that. Sorry, Julie. They needed the Tiger King. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then I bought Daniel that candle that had the Tiger King on it, and it looked like the Virgin Mary, and it had like the light beams coming out of his head.
He's next
Daniel?
on the podcast.
Oh man, prepare yourself for a lot of swearing.
I'm excited. I love you. Thank you very much for doing this with me.
Yeah, of course.
You're amazing. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching. Like, follow, subscribe. I love you guys. I'm out. Stay lit, dude.
Do I get paid?
High five.
No?
No.
Oh shoot.
Like $5?
No, it's fine.
It's not enough. When I remember I tried to give Jordan gas money when I first got out. I gave him $5. He's like, that's not enough, dude. And he's just like, I don't even want that. I was like, you're such a dick, dude.
Jordy. Ooh, living the good life, Jordy. Ooh.